Is this really happening? There's something about him that I'm getting like chosen one vibe. Let me just go on another rant really quick. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Roomies Digest. My name's Christine, and if you clicked on this video, you know that we are in for the second to last episode of Battle of the Books. Oh my god. Okay, so if you don't know what this series is, first of all, go back to the first episode and watch through. But essentially, this is a series that I have been doing for the entire year of 2023, where I ask creators from Book Talk, Bookstagram, and BookTube to give me book recs. During the whole entire month, I read these book recs and then rate them via the Caw Pile method, which was created by Book Roast, and all of the information for that is down below. And so the book that gets the highest Caw Pile rating officially wins that round, that month, okay? And gets a point for their platform. At the end of the year, we will discover who has officially given me the best recommendations for the year of 2023, at least to me. Every month I try to give a genre that basically just kind of keeps the playing field as level as possible. I try and pick creators that are really just like the creme de la creme of their craft in these genres, thereby making it a very competitive but also fun, month of reading. So the current rankings for this competition are as follows. Is there a clear winner yet? I have no idea. Basically, after this round, I feel like we will know who the winner is. But we won't know until the end, okay? So stay tuned and we'll find out who the actual winner is in the next round. Anyway, I'm like so hype right now, guys. I'm so hype. I cannot believe we've had a whole year of Battle of the Books. Okay, I'm not gonna get into it. Okay, we'll get into it in next episode. But what we will get into is the theme of this month, which is audiobooks. I know you guys have been waiting for this one. I know you've been waiting. So essentially, I have found creators who I think recommend some of the best audiobooks, who listen to audiobooks quite frequently. And honestly, it's one of my favorite forms of reading because I feel like you can get a lot done while listening to an audiobook. It's one of my favorite things to be able to go out and do errands, to do things around the house, to work on a project, and be able to also listen to an audiobook. I don't know. I think they're invaluable. And I'm so excited to see what audiobooks we have for recommendations this month. So let's go ahead and get into our creators.
Bum, bum, da 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 da, bum, bum, da.
Okay, y'all, so our first creator is a good friend of mine. I love her so much. I feel like she's always thinking of like these really creative like things to talk about online, on socials. And, she's not just on Instagram, but for our purposes here, we're gonna have her be representing Instagram. But I just feel like she is so creative and she just has so many like great ideas. Like she's always just like posting about these fun things that she's doing, and it's just like an all-around great creator to be following. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Hannah from the Paperback Bruncher. I love Hannah so much, and I think that she is like me, okay? Like she listens to audiobooks like how I listen to audiobooks. When she's got to do something, she's getting errands done, she's doing things around the house, she's listening to audiobooks, and I feel like she's gonna have a great recommendation for me today. So I cannot wait. To see what she is going to recommend to me. Now, if I had to guess, honestly, I have no idea what she is going to recommend me. Maybe it could be like women's fiction. That's the vibe I'm getting when I think of Hannah and like an audiobook. But maybe that would be too slow. I don't know. Would she do... No. Would she do a fantasy? I don't know. I feel like she likes fantasy, but I don't think she's going to recommend me a fantasy. Okay. No idea what it's going to be. I know. My guesses have not been well on this second half of the year, but it's fine. So let's go ahead and just see what she recommends me.
Hey Christine, I hear you need an audiobook recommendation for Battle of the Books, and I've got just the audiobook for you. In fact, I've got the winning audiobook for you. Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, aka the Bellinger Sisters series. Honestly, I call this series the grown-up cowbells. If you ever watched the Disney Channel original movie with Ali and AJ, and they are the spoiled little rich sisters who need a dose of reality, this is them grown up and a whole lot spicier in my opinion. And what is a better way to win than by adding a little bit of spice? Happy listening.
I'm dead. Okay, so Hook, Line, and Sinker is the second book in Tessa Bailey's little series that she has there. So I think this is hilarious because I have not read the first one. But I will say, when it comes to romance books that have these types of interwoven plot lines, like, they're not even interwoven, they're just like nods to, like, they have like a mention, an honorable mention of the other characters. I feel like I'm okay with reading them out of order. Now, if I didn't, I'd be like, all right, y'all, we're gonna be reading book number 1. But I really have no problem reading book 2. And honestly, I feel like this storyline for this one, because we have both of them, Monique has both of them on the shelf. Maybe I'll read that one too. I just feel like it's gonna be a good time, and I have been wanting to read this one for a while, so that is gonna be interesting. I love a romance on audio, okay? I feel like they're fun, a fast-filled fun time, and I feel like you can't go wrong with them. So, great recommendation, Hannah. Thank you very much. Okay, so our second creator for this round is going to be representing TikTok, and I think she reads quite a few audiobooks. Like, she is an audiobook queen. I feel like she has really good recs on TikTok, and I'm just very like impressed with kind of like what she's reading and what she is into. So I'm very excited to introduce you guys to Logan from Logan's Library. She is such a fun time, and I really love her account. Like I said, I think she has some really good recs, and honestly, I don't know what she's gonna recommend me. I know that she reads quite a lot of romance, but I'm not sure if she's the audiobook reader that reads romance on audio. I feel like that's a very specific person, and I am that person. Like, I like to read romances on audio, but I feel like it's not for everyone. So I'm not sure if that is really what she is going to be recommending me today, but if it's not that, I don't know what it is. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I know what it is. Okay. Anyway, let's try that. We'll see what she recommends. Let's just watch the video.
Hi Christine, it's Logan. I'm so excited to be part of this month's Battle of the Books. I'm a huge audiobook fan, so I think this is so fun. Thank you for asking me to represent Book Talk. I had a little bit of a hard time narrowing it down. There's just too many good audiobooks out there. But ultimately I had to go with one of my all-time favorite audiobooks. I listened to it for the first time 2 years ago and have listened to it, I don't even want to tell you how many times since then. I just love it. And that is Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. One of my favorite authors, and this audiobook is probably my favorite of hers. It's the first in her Edith series. It's small town romantic suspense, a little bit of enemies to lovers. It's narrated by Vanessa Edwin and Jason Clark, who are two of my all-time favorite narrators. So you really just cannot go wrong. And I really hope you enjoy it.
Y'all, I've been wanting to read this series for a while. Okay. Oh my God, I'm dead. All right, so when it comes to romances, I wouldn't say that I am very like versed in contemporary romances. I read a lot of the mainstream stuff, but I don't really go into like indie romances like I should. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy them, but I usually just gravitate more towards fantasy romance and fantasy books in general. So one of the good things about this series is that these creators have really gotten me out of the fantasy like rut, the fantasy kind of like genre, and out of my comfort zone. So I do love a romance on audio, and I'm so glad that it's this one because I have been wanting to read this series for forever. I have a friend in our Discord who has been telling me to read this series, and finally I don't want to say I have a reason, but like I am being made to read this, and I feel like now is the time. It's gonna be a great time. It's literally November. It is the turkey season. I feel like reading a romance on audio is just gonna be perfect for this time of year. So this is a great rec, and I cannot wait to get into it. I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I love, Y'all, I love a small town romance in the mountains. Like something about Montana, something about just like Utah. I don't know. I'm just like making stuff up. I don't even know if these places have mountains really. But anyway, something about these places and having like a little like ranch romance, like horse girl romance. Like it really is so reminiscent of like my hometown and like where I'm from. Maybe that's why it's hitting me like that. Anyway, I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great book to read. So thank you so much, Logan. I can't wait to get into this one. Okay, last but not least, I want to introduce you guys to our creator who's going to be representing YouTube this round. I'm very excited for this because this is one of my besties, one of the people that I truly think really takes a lot of care in her recs and like really thinks about, you know, what is the person gonna like and enjoy, while also kind of like pushing people to get out of their comfort zone. And that person is Stephanie from Stephanie Bookish. I love her so much. Anyway, you guys know Steph. She is one of my great friends. She reads audiobooks like it's nobody's business, okay? She is the audiobook queen, and I cannot wait to see what she is going to recommend me. Traditionally speaking, if this was another round, I think she would have given me some sort of fantasy, but I really wanted to challenge her with this round because giving her like the fantasy genre, the horror genre, those would have been cake money for Steph, okay? She probably would have won, and I had to make it fair, okay? I had to make it a little challenging for her. So instead of doing that, I really wanted to challenge her to give me an audiobook. And I don't think it's going to be a fantasy. Like I think it'll probably be something contemporary. Do I know what that is? No. I mean, it could be. She could give me like a thriller or something on audio, but I truly don't think that's what she's going to do. I think she's going to give me something heartfelt, something that really digs deep. And do I know what that book is? No, I don't know, but I bet we're gonna find out right now. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
First off, thank you so much for letting me be a part of Battle of the Books. I really love this series. And I'm gonna start off by saying I'm not going into this trying to win. I'm literally just giving you the best audiobook experience that I had this year. And I'm not sure that you'll be able to guess this one unless you've been paying attention to my favorite books this year, which they're very few. So you could potentially get this. But I want you to listen to The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez. And this is simply because of two reasons. It was one of my favorite books of the year, and you recently read and loved The Long Way to a Smaller Planet. Now, these are vastly different books in terms of what they're trying to do and like the tone. This one is far more sad than The Long Way to a Smaller Planet, but they accomplish kind of a similar thing in the way that they're told and the found family aspect of it all, and just the feel goods. Like, not all of it is feel good. That's why I said it was sad. But there are some just really wonderful moments, and I sobbed at the end of this book. I do think that you have a really great chance of loving this book. I will say though, when you start this book, it's told in a really interesting way. I believe there are 3 or 4 parts in this book, and the first part is kind of told in vignettes, and you'll feel lost and you'll feel confused. But once you get to part 2, things start connecting and coming together and making a lot more sense. Just stick with it in the first part if you're feeling really confused, because it will all come together. But yeah, this is one of my best audiobook experiences this year, and I absolutely loved this book. The writing was impeccable, and I think that if you're in the mood to annotate while you're listening, I highly recommend it because there were so many lines that I highlighted and loved. And yeah, I hope that you love it, but if you don't, forget I said anything. Love you, bye!
Oh my god, I love her so much. Goose in the beginning. He's the funniest cat. I love that cat. Vanishing Birds. So I know that she has read this and loved this. I saw this when she read it. I don't know if it was for a read along or for her book club, but I know it was like a Patreon thing. So I know that she's loved it. I don't know much about it. It's kind of sounding a little bit like 5th season. Because the way in which that is told is very confusing. The POVs are confusing. You don't know what's going to happen until it connects in the later part of that book. I really loved that. I thought the reveal of that and how things are connected was very fun. It's also giving me, what was the book that Darian recommended at the beginning of this year? The Measure? Hold on, y'all. I gotta look this up. What was that book? Oh my god, my brain is so funny. Was it The Measure? I don't think that's what it's called. Oh my god, it's called The Measure. What? That's crazy. Oh my god. Okay, so The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. That one, we're bringing it back to January, okay? It's reminding me a little bit of that from what Steph has said, okay? I feel like the POVs in this one, you don't know how they're connected. You're kind of confused until all of a sudden it kind of just makes sense. So, I mean, I'm not too fond of the sad portion that she said. I don't know about that, but hopefully if I'm really invested in the characters, it is worth it in the end, and I don't think Steph would lead me astray. So I'm excited to challenge myself for this one. It's not just gonna be a fun and easy romance. Hopefully it really tugs at the heartstrings, and I feel like I was kind of right with my guess, maybe. I didn't know what book it was gonna be, but is it a fantasy book? I'm gonna find that out. I mean, she did say small way to a long way to a small angry planet. The title of that one always gets me. So I guess it is a sci-fi. We'll see where the wind takes us, okay? But I'm super excited for this month. It is going to be great. Audiobooks are the reason for the season. And I can't wait to get into this one. So I will check in with you guys in a little bit. I don't know which one I'm going to start with. But when I know, you'll know. Okay, just like that. All right, I'll see you guys in the next clip. It is officially the first check-in for this vlog, and I started reading Hook, Line, and Sinker, which I'm actually reading on audio, but Monique actually owns this one. So this is her book, and I'm using it so I don't have to do a pop-up, of course, because I'm a lazy girl. But yeah, I essentially started this audiobook yesterday, and literally finished it today. Like, that's how quickly this audiobook happened. So I'm just going to kind of give you guys a rundown of you know, the highlights and things like that, because obviously we don't have a 50% check-in. But the thing with this one is, you know, so first of all, obviously it's the second book in the series. I think I said that in the intro. So I have not started this series before this book, which in this case, you know, as in most cases with romances, usually you don't have to read them in order. Like for me, I would like to, just so I know all the characters, but like it's not gonna make or break the plot of the book. So that was fine, that's fine. It did, however, give some spiciness, nice, you know, Pacific Northwest setting. I really liked our two characters. I think Hannah is such an interesting character just because she throughout the whole entire book had mentioned herself being the supporting character, like not the main character. And I think like as you kind of go through the book and you see her perspective on this, I feel like it's really easy to feel that way sometimes. Like you're not the main character in a story, you're just like the supporting side character. And I think one of the major kind of like quotes from this book that really hit me, not that this is like anything existentially deep or like super emotional, you know, anything like that, but she did say that like she can give advice to somebody about their lives and like what they should do, but when it comes to her own life, it's like really hard for her to like stand up for herself and to assert herself. And I feel like that happens all the time. Like, I don't know, that just really hit. I was like, oh my God, we all feel like supporting characters, AKA me sometimes, even though I know I'm the main character. Like, what the heck? So anyway, there was just like some really good kind of like insights and things throughout the book with that. Like I said, it is pretty spicy. As soon as you get to like the 50%, you're already seeing stuff, okay? You're already getting down and dirty. I'm talking like, we're not talking full on, but there were some steamy moments with them. I was like, oh my God, like, hello? What's going on right now? And that's mainly because our main love interest, Fox, he is under this impression that he is a stud and like that's all he's good for. Like his personality means nothing. Like no one will ever love him for who he is. Like he just has to be this like sex addict basically. And he obviously like he does like sex, like, you know, whatever, but that's obviously not his entire personality. You know what I mean? Even though at some times in this book, I did feel like it was his personality, just in like the way that he would speak to Hannah. But the dirty talk was top tier in this, okay? Very chef's kiss. So yeah, like I said, I read this one in 24 hours. Very, very quick, easy audiobook, and I liked it. It was so cute. It was so cute. Such a good audio. So thank you for that rec, Hannah. We'll get to the cop-out obviously at the end. So I think the next book is gonna be Indigo Ridge. We're just gonna continue on with the romance and then leave the heavier book for the end of the month. But I do think that we are gonna go on to Indigo Ridge next, just because I feel like I'm in a romance mood. I want to continue with that mood, so might as well read it while we can. So anyway, that is the check-in. That's what's going on. You know, hook, line, and sinker was cute. That's my first Tessa Bailey, so that was a fun time. And I cannot wait to get into Indigo Ridge to continue this romance, this romantic time. Anyway, okay, cool. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Whew. Okay, y'all, look, listen, I know that I look crazy. That's just the name of the game, because it is the day before Turkey Day, and I have the unique opportunity to get into the kitchen before Monique. So because Monique is doing a half day today at work, I got up early, went to the grocery store, which, by the way, I hate doing things last minute, and I did it this year. And last minute is not like day of last minute. Like, last minute to me is like the day before. Anyway, so I did this last minute, and there was a lot of stuff missing from the grocery store. I was like, uh-oh, might not have what I need. Anyway, so I'm making veggie casserole. I am making an apple pie. Oh, macaroni. Duh. My #1 meal of Turkey Day. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing right now. But I did want to check in with you guys and let you know. I started the Devney Perry book, and I could not be happier that I'm reading this right now. I think this was honestly such a good pick to start because I had to run and do errands. On audio, it's literally like 4 hours long, so I think I might even finish it today. And it's just a fun time. Like, I didn't expect there to be kind of like a mystery element, like a mystery component to this romance, because it definitely is like a romance. And I don't know, I'm just having a really good time. I really enjoy it. Like, I like that our main character is a chief of police. She is badass in her own way, like not just like a beautiful woman, but she's got like her own career ahead of her. And then of course, like, her love interest doesn't want anything to do with her because he's a bachelor. Okay, but let's not forget that they both can't stop thinking about each other since that first night that they met. Okay, so anyway, I'm having a really good time. I can already tell I'm gonna like this one unless something crazy stupid happens with the plot, which I hope not, but you never know, okay? Something cuckoo could happen. So essentially, I'm gonna be listening to that and also making food. So I will let you guys see the goodies. The secret with veggie casserole, this is my auntie's recipe. The secret with veggie casserole is to always make it the day before, which is why I think the things that I make work so well with the things that Monique makes, because Monique's food items are like better day of, whereas veggie casserole, once you make it, it's better to like have it in the fridge for a little while and then serve it like low-key the next day. Same, I think, with apple pie. Let it sit. And then of course the mac and cheese, you don't even have to be in the kitchen for. You just put that in the crock pot and it's done, baby. So that's what we're doing right now. That's what's going on. That's the tea. I'm gonna share the recipes if you guys are interested. The veggie casserole one is gonna be right here. Oh my god, my mom's calling me. Okay, I'm gonna answer this because we never get to chat, but I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, y'all, we're on to another voiceover for this vlog. Here, I'm just on FaceTime with my mom. We caught up and I started making the apple pie, which essentially entails just peeling a ton of apples. My cousin only uses one type of apple, but you know, I don't discriminate. I have multiple in this pie and it tasted great. So, plot twist or surprise, It doesn't really matter. Okay, all the apples are gonna still taste the same. Here I am just slicing the apples to get them ready for the inside filling part, which is essentially just sugar, flour, and I believe the other portion is cinnamon. You just put that in there, okay? You mix it up and it tastes great. You don't really have to do much for apple pie, but the one thing you do need is a stellar lemon. So I went out to the lemon tree out back and found the most perfect lemon. I was like, hello, you are gonna be eaten, unfortunately. Anyway, so chopped up that lemon and got it ready to put into the inside of the pie. You wanna get as much juice as possible. I'm pretty sure I have a juicer, but you know, a little hard work never hurt anybody. Then I just mixed it up to get it ready to put into the filling. Yes, these are the pre-made Marie Callender pie crusts, okay? Like I said, I don't discriminate. And then the topping is just a really easy, like cinnamon, flour, sugar topping, okay? I'm not fancy, and you don't have to be either. You can make a stellar pie just like this. So anyway, here's the recipe if you guys are interested. And that's me putting the pies in. I feel like I do this every time where I'm like, woo! I'm gonna take this out because it's distracting me. Okay, so I'm at 50% of Miss Devney Perry's novel. I was about to say Juniper Ridge, but I think Juniper is the book that I really wanted to read. Indigo Ridge is what I am reading right now. Anyway, so I have finished the veggie casserole. It is right there. I don't know if you can see it. Can I even see it? It's right there. Whatever. Anyway, veggie casserole is done. The 2 pies are in the oven. So when that's done, I'll show you. I'll give you guys a little close-up view. But I decided to do my little like apple bites. I decided to do those tomorrow, so they'll be more fresh. They'll be out of the oven because I'm essentially making them and then taking them to work, and I want them to be like as fresh as possible. So I don't really want to put them in the fridge before I go. So I'm gonna make those tomorrow. I'll show you guys tomorrow what that's looking like. But so far at the 50% of Indigo Ridge, I'm loving it. It is a really fun time. There's a little tiny jealousy trope. Which like the jealousy trope is so interesting because like it's not like it's like 2 main love interests, you know what I mean? She has to pick who's who. It's really just there is another player in the game, and then you know she's gotta get her little jealousy green guy off of her back and be like, okay, well, I'm acting like a crazy person right now because this man is not even my boyfriend. He's not even anything to me. Why am I saying that? I don't know. Anywho, so I'm gonna give you guys a close-up of what I got going on here. I'll share the recipes. The pie and the veggie casserole are both like recipes from my family book, but you guys have probably seen similar recipes around. Anyway, it's gonna be past Thanksgiving when this comes out, but you know, for the future, if you want to make some for Christmas, whatever. So I'll share those 2, and then I'm going to share the little pie bites, the little apple recipe tomorrow. But yeah, I really don't have much more else to report on Indigo Ridge. Like, I'm just having a good time. It's a really good audiobook. And I think it's perfect for, like I said, right now, because it's a lightweight, feel-good time. And this mystery element of, like, all of the suicides in this town. Like, I guess maybe coming from a small town myself, like if over the past 10 years there had been 7 suicides, it would be kind of crazy because like everybody knows each other, and it's just kind of like, okay, the suicide prevention watch or whatever is not working, so we have to figure out another way to like help people with their mental health. So I think this is such an interesting like plot line, because obviously like I'm thinking it's not suicide, I'm thinking someone is killing them. And if that's the case, this went from a romance to like a little tiny mystery novel. Is it gonna be a thriller? I don't know. Probably not like too much, but it might have something in there. So I'm really excited. But yeah, I'll check in at the end. I'm gonna continue listening to it. I still have a few hours before work. I'm going to like clean up. I have a huge mess of dishes. So I'm gonna clean that up because Monique's gonna come in from work. She's on a half day today, I think I told you guys, but she's gonna come in and she's gonna wanna have a clean space so that she can do her thing, prep her food and all that for tomorrow. So I'm gonna do that and then basically just get ready for work. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited, everybody. Not just to eat and be thankful for one another, but also to finish this book. Anyway, I'll let you guys know how it is, and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, and we're back. This is it. The veggie casserole. I really feel like a food blogger right now, doing all these shots of food. But this is it. I got the apple pie. Oop, apple pie close-up. Yeah, even closer. Macro. I think it looks great. It tasted great. And that's all of them. I did 2 pies and a veggie casserole. And then I had to edit this video. This was a point at which, I guess you guys can see the time jump sort of in this vlog, but like I had a huge slump in November. So this was me doing my vlog of getting out of that slump. And I actually really loved it. It was a lot of fun. And that's it. Okay.
Hello, I'm Mo, the other half of the Ruby's Digest. We're here eating Thanksgiving in Steph's house. Also,
Jared.
I kind of hijacked the whole videotaping. Carry on with whatever you're doing, Christine. I'm just very hungry.
Why don't you do a little...
Christine, where'd you put the cranberries?
It's in the fridge.
Oh my God. Oof.
Where do you think it
So
is?
we have to go.
Ham. Y'all like ham?
Hell yeah. Eat a lot. Take a lot.
Woo!
Yes, buddy.
Mac and cheese. It's gonna need
Everything
some.
smells so seasoned. Oh, corn casserole. It's corn.
Corn casserole. It's corn!
It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so I have finished Indigo Ridge. What a great audiobook to listen to, just like very casually as I'm like getting ready for the holiday season, getting ready for, you know, food and festivities and friendship and fun. How much alliteration can you do in one sentence? And yeah, I feel like this book was such a surprise. I didn't know I was gonna like it this much. Because I usually do like romances, but I feel like for some reason I really liked this one. I don't know. I'm really excited for the second book in this series and to continue because I now know that a few of my friends love this series. So very exciting. I don't know much else to say. Like I really enjoyed this one. I thought the romance and the mystery element were like very well done together. So I'm wondering like, will the other ones be like this or is it just this one? Anyway, okay, so I finished that and now I'm on to my next and final book for this vlog, which is The Vanished Birds. Now, I think I've already kind of talked about this a little bit, but just a refresher, I don't know too much about this one. I just know that it is really sad. Stephanie really liked it. And honestly, I'm just gonna open up what it even is about. It honestly sounds like a little lyrical, like a little magical realism-esque, even though I think it's science fiction is what my sources here are telling me. I really don't know what to expect because truly I don't know anything about this book, really, other than Stephanie loved it. So we're gonna take that, you know, into consideration. We're gonna trust that. And we're gonna start this book. So that's the next book that I am going to be reading. Of course, you guys saw the tiny bit of B-roll that I did for Thanksgiving. Honestly, when it's stuff like that, I try really hard to do B-roll. Like I try to think about it, but also another thing is I try to also be in the present. So I don't know. I really wanted to, but also on Thanksgiving I worked. I was really tired. We were already late to Steph's and I just wanted to kind of get there and hang out with my friends, you know? So I don't know if the B-roll was that satisfying, but that's life, okay? Life's not always gonna be how you expect it to be. Ha. Anyway, so Thanksgiving is over. It was yesterday. Today, Monique and I are doing like a Friendsgiving kind of like leftover celebration with our patrons because it's Black Friday and I am going to be purchasing some items from, you know, different stores and things like that, making some purchases. We really wanted to take this day to kind of rest and not do too much work, even though I'm still kind of low-key working. But because of that, we're gonna do a movie night tonight. We're gonna eat our leftovers with our patrons. We're gonna hang out and just kind of chill for the rest of the day. So that's what I've got planned for this evening. That is at 5 o'clock and it is now 3:11. So we have some time. I'm gonna start this audiobook. It's 13 hours long, so probably won't get too far into it today, but I will let you guys know how I'm enjoying it very, very soon. Okay, cool. See you guys in the next check-in. Okay. Good morning, angels. Good morning, Charlie. Okay, guys, so if you hear, first of all, the laundry, you know what day it is. It's laundry day. It's chore day. It's also check-in day. I have been trying to figure out where to start because I'm at the 50% and I truly, for the beginning of this book, had like literally no idea what the heck was going on. I didn't really read much into what this was about. I did happen to look up the genre because I wasn't sure when I first got this rec from Steph. I was like, is this some kind of contemporary or is this, what is this? A fantasy? I have no idea. So now I know it is a sci-fi. There are a lot of great like sci-fi elements and the writing so far has been very like what some could I guess call flowery, but I don't think it's too much, if that makes sense. I do feel like reading it on audio is a little hard for me. I feel like I should be annotating and I should be reading it physically. So I think like as far as that goes, like it's very hard for me to kind of focus with this book because there's a lot going on and a lot that I don't understand. But kind of like as the chapters have been going on, I have been getting more and more clarity on what's going on and also sucked more into the plot of this book. And I feel like it's just so good. Like I don't know what else to really say other than like I'm getting like a really good feeling about this. It feels like a contained epic plot, if that makes sense. So let me just go ahead and kind of try to explain without any spoilers, like what's going on in this book. So in the first part of this book, it is basically just like different POVs. We have like all these disjointed POVs, and it actually reminded me a lot of the 5th season, if you've ever read that book. It just jumps into all these random plot lines. One plot line is like this guy where you see his entire life go from like start to finish. And I think probably one of the most interesting things about this book right now is that there is a lot of like time travel there. And it's not necessarily like the time traveler's wife time travel. It's like you are in space and you are experiencing time in a different way because you are not necessarily on Earth's gravity, like you are in your own pull. And so like different characters are experiencing time differently. So this one character, Kada, as he is going through his life, because we see his entire life, he gets visited by this other character periodically and basically like falls in love with her because he has known her since he was young. And every time she visits, like it seems like she is never really like aged at all. And so it's just like so poetic and kind of sad because he goes through his whole entire life like basically waiting for her to come back. It reminds me of also like Pirates of the Caribbean, like in the end of that like storyline, that major storyline with like Will Turner and Elizabeth. Like, it's just kind of like bittersweet and kind of tragic, but also really interesting because like how is Nia experiencing time while she's on the ship? Like what is she doing? Like she's obviously a captain, like she's obviously like in charge of like these like missions where she has to like go off and like do these things and then comes back and like sees Kada. But like it's just so like sad, really. It's so sad. Makes my heart hurt a little bit because I feel like Kada has always wanted something, especially in like the way that he thinks about her. It's just not meant to be. Star-crossed lovers, I guess. That has happened. Then there's like this other plot line where this young boy has been found off-world and he essentially is like an outcast and is not really treated well. Like he's definitely had some trauma happen to him. And it comes to a point where he basically has to be taken care of. Like, somebody has to take care of him, okay? Because he's a bebe. He's not a bebe, but like, he's a young child, okay? And he's clearly had some stuff happen to him. Like, he needs help. He needs someone to take care of him. And I'm just really liking the dynamic there. Like, I feel like Nia is this traveler who just like goes off, does these missions, and doesn't really age and experiences things differently than like someone who is stuck on world. You know what I mean? Because time is so like non-existent for her, right? So for her to have to like take care of this child, I feel like it's almost like a grounding thing for her. Like it's just like something that can keep her kind of like centered and grounded. I don't know if this is making sense, but like I just think it's a good thing for Nia. I'm also kind of gathering that because of this trauma or like whatever this kid has like gone through, that is like why he does not talk. He's mute. There's something about him that I'm getting like chosen one vibes. I don't know if I'm crazy or if it's just some random kid, but like I'm getting chosen one vibes. Okay, like it's giving the child from Dune, like the little sister from Dune. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm just like a conspiracy theorist when it comes to fantasy and sci-fi. Y'all know I be loving a good plot. I had no idea what was going on in the first part. Like I really truly was just like, I'm flying with it because I can barely remember these people's names because it's all on audio. Anyway, okay, so that's happening. Then we get into part 2 and there's like these other characters like Fumiko and Dana. They're so cute together, and like I don't want to say too much, y'all, because y'all gotta read it if you haven't read it. But like their relationship, this world is so interesting to me. Like the world of the Vanished Birds is so interesting because I feel like it's like a commentary on like capitalism, and these are parallels obviously, but like things like social media and kind of like vanity and things like that. Like they all just kind of like ruin culture and like ruin people. And Fumiko is just such an interesting character because in this day and age, like you can basically like choose what you want your kids to look like. Like it's just so crazy, and people are so vain and just so into like things that aren't really real things, you know what I mean? Like we shouldn't care about them, but as humans we do, of course. And so Fumiko is just so interesting because like her mom chose to like make her ugly, and so she's always had this thing about how like she's ugly and she doesn't feel pretty, and like Dana is putting the moves on. Like it's just so sweet. But then of course, because we have like this whole like theme of time and kind of like time travel, I don't know what else to call it, but like time experience, I guess. Like, of course, because Fumika has to go and chooses like her own career, she has to go and be gone for like a few years, and like I feel like I'm getting into spoilery, so I'm actually not gonna go into that part. But I'm loving the world of this. Like I'm loving the plot, I'm loving the characters, I'm loving the world, and really that's all I need to give it together, go her. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm having a really good time with it. I'm still like a little confused about what is going on because at this point, I feel like I'm right on the cusp of a reveal. But the chapters are super long. Like I didn't even realize that there were chapters at first. I was like, oh, okay, this is like one of those books. You know what I mean? Like you've read one of those books before, right? Like where there are no chapters anyway, or the chapters are super long. So I do feel like it is kind of like taking me a minute to get through it, but it's not like a bad taking me a minute. It's just like I have to actually pay attention. I can't just mindlessly be doing something while I'm reading this book. So yeah, I feel like the plot is going to come together in the second part, so it'll be a little bit easier for me to understand. But I'm assuming that characters that we've already met will be coming back and will be kind of like intertwining with the characters that we're now like seeing. So I don't know what's happening with like Nia. I don't know what's happening with our boy. I don't know what's happening with Fumiko. I don't know. Like there seems to be some kind of like connection between Fumiko and Nia. Like I don't know what's going on, but as soon as the plot starts twisting, I'm done. It's over. Like not done as in done, but like it's a done deal. And I'm just having a good time, okay? So I can't really say much more than that because I feel like I'm gonna spoil the plot. But like it's a good read. It's a good time. And I feel like if you like sci-fi books, if you like kind of like epic sci-fi, if you like space travel, I feel like that this is a good book for you. Okay, so I'm gonna continue listening to this book today. Hopefully I get it done. This is the last one for Battle of the Books, so we'll do a check-in and we'll pretty much go through the call pile, but like, wow, things are happening, okay? And I'm having a great time. Okay, see you guys in a little bit. Oh my God. Y'all, what the heck? Oh my God. I feel like I have so many things to say. This is gonna probably be a little bit longer of a check-in, but I feel like I have so many things to say about the Vanished Birds, and like, I don't even really know where to start. I feel like everything in this book is everything that I love in a sci-fi, because ultimately the sci-fis that I like are the ones that really have a commentary on human life and what the future holds for us. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a big crazy space odyssey, like a big crazy plot and things like that. Like, I do like those things. Obviously, I'm a high fantasy reader. I like those kind of books. So obviously I would like that in a sci-fi. But I feel like the sci-fis that I'm really connecting with are the ones that show humans in their most just real self. Like, there's not really a bad guy. It's just humans trying to get through things. Because I think, y'all, I'm going on a rant. Sorry about this. But like, I feel like a lot of times when we think about the future and we think about science and like being up in space, right? And living there eventually, we think about that, we don't really know what to expect. At least for me, like I don't know what to expect. And I think one of the most obvious things is that when you're in space, you're literally there at like the grace of the atmosphere, like the grace of your situation. Does that make sense? Like, you are literally, you can't just like exist in space. Like, you have to build a place for you to stay, or like a ship or like something, and anything can go wrong. Like, you are literally just trying to survive. So in this book, this is like obviously Earth, like way down the line, everything's been. This whole book is just about like these characters trying to figure out how to survive, healing from trauma, dealing with capitalism. I feel like there were so many themes in this book that like I need to read it physically. Like, I have got to buy this book and I've got to read it physically, because I feel like I truly need to annotate and like really just like dive deep into this book. I feel like I need to read it again. Like Stephanie said in her original recommendation, she was talking about A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and I feel like this book went deeper than that book for some reason. Like, it just delved way deeper into like the human experience, and especially situations like space. Like, I feel like that just puts a whole other pressure on people to just survive. And like, I don't know, this was giving so many like of like all the sci-fis I love. Like, it's giving A Small Way to a Long Angry Planet, 5th season, which isn't necessarily sci-fi, it's fantasy, but like the way it was told reminds me of that. Dawn by Octavia Butler. Like, we've got a Velocity Weapon, freaking Space Between Worlds. Like, all of the fun things about sci-fi this book had, while also having this like deeply emotional connection to the characters, and like the found family trope, and just like how interesting it is to see things come full circle. I don't know if this is making any sense, y'all. I feel like I'm blabbing right now, but like the Vanished Birds, I feel like there's so much commentary about like what we as humans are experiencing right now. And it dives deep into all these different things. Like, I can't even like lay it out for you. I feel like I need to have a whole full-on book report on this one. But honestly, so freaking good. The last half of this book, psychotic, okay? Like, plot twists and turns, crazy things are happening. We've got morally gray characters. And I think this is one of the reasons why I love a villain. It's just like, they do things because they think it's the right thing at the time, and it slowly develops them. It slowly changes them into something that they almost don't recognize in themselves by the end of it. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, but I don't want to give away literally anything of the plot. It's just so good. Like, if you like characters, if you like sci-fi, you need to be reading this book. I feel like it's just like all of the things that I love about sci-fi. And honestly, this kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Hold on, let me just go on another rant really quick. I feel like this book also kind of opened my eyes a little bit, because I truly was saying at the beginning of this year, like, I don't know what I like about sci-fi. Like, I don't know specifically what interests me about the sci-fi genre, because before I just read like Red Rising, The First Sister, these are like bigger kind of like plots, right? Bigger plots, not a lot of character work. But I think like books like this, where you have like those underlying parallels of what we see in this world reflected in the future and like what could be the fiction of it all, I am blown away. And the space travel, like the time travel, I love a time travel trope, y'all. Like I love it. I will read it in anything, okay? I love it because usually that means there's multiple timelines. That means that there's connections, there's a bigger plot going on, and I feel like that's like one component of this book just done so well. Like time is always passing. Time is always passing. And like this book was like, okay, so what are you gonna do with the time that you have? Like, what are you gonna do? Coming of age, like there was a coming of age storyline. You know, I was talking about like morally gray characters and villains and things like that, but my first kind of comment about this book when I clicked the on button is that we're all human and we make decisions and we have to deal with those decisions. And I always talk about what makes a book an adult book. You know, obviously if you've got sex scenes, it's an adult novel, okay? But like a lot of times what makes the difference between a YA, a new adult, and an adult novel is when adults make decisions and then they have to deal with those decisions. I feel like this writing was just so good. Like once it started to come together, y'all, it's literally what I love about well-written books. So yeah. I don't even know if that made sense, but it was such a good book. I think on audio, like I maybe had done a disservice to myself, but overall I did have a really good time with it. So many things in this book. Anyway, okay, so I feel like I just blacked out when I was talking about this. Like I literally just finished it a couple of minutes ago, so it's like fresh on my brain. What a time. And this whole time I didn't realize that this was actually the same author that wrote The Spear Cuts Through Water, which is a standalone that I am going to be reading with Foe next year, my fantasy book club over on Patreon. And I've heard great things about that book, and I didn't make the connection, I guess. I don't know, like, but now I'm just so excited to get into that book because I feel like that one's gonna be just as good as this. Like wow. I mean, this is definitely one of my favorite books of the year. Okay, I'm gonna get into the call pile of all of these books and let you know the official final ratings. I did the call pile. I'm like a little distressed right now. Okay, y'all, so I have the call pile here. I haven't calculated the numbers yet. It's really close. I think all of these got 5 stars. Like honestly, I don't know what to expect. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first book I want to talk about is Indigo Ridge. Now, because I read all of these on audio, I do want to do like a honorable mention for how they were on audio. We'll get to that at the very end, but going into the characters, it's gonna be a 9.5 out of 10. I love these characters, y'all. I would die for these characters. I wouldn't die for these characters, but like I loved them, okay? 9.5 out of 10. The atmosphere is gonna be a 10 out of 10. I loved it. Okay, I loved it. I loved the little mountain setting. I loved the ranch, but not really a ranch setting. Like it's making me want to move to Montana, okay? And that is gonna be a 10 out of 10. Okay, the writing is a 9.5. It sucked me in, y'all. It sucked me in. It was good writing. It wasn't cheesy. Like sometimes I'd be reading these romances and I'm just like, no, you did not just say that. Like, you are embarrassing. You are so embarrassing. But in this one, it wasn't like that. I truly had such a good time. And that's gonna flow into like the plot of this book, the intrigue of this book. Like the intrigue is one of the easiest things I can answer is a 10 out of 10. Okay, baby. I wanted to know what was happening the whole time. I sped through this book, read it so fast. Literally, I think it was like in one day, maybe a day and a half, something like that. But it was so fast. I was like, okay, speed demon. The plot of this book, I thought this was so interesting for a romance, for this to be the first book in a romance series and for it to be kind of like a murder mystery plot, have our main character be like a cop and like she's moving to this small town to like start a job. Like I just thought that was done so well, y'all. I loved her. It was so good. The logic in relationships is a 9.5. Like I didn't feel like it was too insta-lovey. These two main characters had to build their relationship and like really like each other before they got together. And y'all know that's what I love in a romance. Like, ooh, y'all did it. Y'all did it so well. I'm so proud of y'all. I really loved it. Like Devney Perry, you did that. Okay. And then enjoyment is going to be a 10 out of 10. Okay. If I had to rate this without anything else, it's a 10 out of a 10. Okay. I had a great time. Okay. The next book I want to talk about is Hook, Line, and Sinker. Okay, the characters in this one is going to be a 9 out of a 10. I like the characters, but there were some flaws that were annoying, like a little tiny Just like that much. Just a little tiny bit. Okay, it doesn't quite give him a 10, but our main character, he really loved to just rag on himself because he thought he was a major hoe. And I'm like, seriously, dude, it's 2023. Don't let people tell you who you are, okay? Be your own person, be yourself, and don't let the haters get you down, okay? But I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I still love them. I love both of them. I think they were so fun. The steam in this one too, like the chemistry in this one was off the charts. The logic and relationships, like y'all were crazy. All right, the atmosphere in this one's gonna be a 9 out of 10. I felt like I could have moved to this town. Like I literally could live in this small little seaside town in the Pacific Northwest. Like I just thought that was a fun time too. Honestly, I wanted to live in this world. It was a really great time. 9 out of 10. Writing is also gonna be a 9 out of 10, as well as the plot and the intrigue. I feel like the plot was just interesting and fun. This is the second book in a series. So like maybe it would have been a 10 out of 10, like if it had been prefaced by the first book. But I really did think it was interesting to have this kind of almost like pen pal start to their relationship and then have her, you know, go to work in this area to be closer to him and have their relationship develop. I just thought it was done so well, all of it. Like it was not insta-lovey. They really had to get to know each other over a long period of time and it was fun. Okay, the intrigue, 9 out of 10. I almost read this book all in one sitting too. Like it was a great time. In comparison, logic and relationships, 9.5. Like the chemistry between these two characters, I already said, was so good. Their relationship was so cute and loving. Like y'all, oh my God, y'all were so cute. Oh, y'all make me sick. Y'all make me sick. And overall enjoyment is a 9 out of 10. Like this was just such a fun book. I don't know if I would have liked the first one as much as this, just because it's like a Schitt's Creek retelling. I probably will go and reread it. I don't know, but like this one, it worked for me and I really loved it. Okay, now on to our final book of this vlog, which is The Vanished Birds. Okay, the characters, 9.5 out of 10, baby. I can't quite give it a 10 because I'm like, some stuff happened and I was like, why'd you do that? You know, I mean, that's just characters. That's just morally great characters, okay? I get it. I get it. So I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. The atmosphere is a 10 out of 10. This atmosphere was just crafted so well. And that goes in with the writing style of this book. Kind of flowery, but not flowery language. Just descriptive, beautiful, engrossing. Like all of these words, I feel like encompass that so well. Okay, it's a 10 out of 10, y'all. It's a 10 out of 10. The atmosphere, if you like science fiction, if you like space, sci-fi, any of that, this is the atmosphere for you. The writing, 10 out of 10. Simon! What are you doing to me? The plot is also going to be a 10 out of 10. Though it reminded me of other books, I thought this plot was done so well and it really put a twist on all of these things that are so familiar in sci-fi, making me think about things, okay? The plot made me think and that's a 10 out of 10, baby. It made me think. The intrigue for this one, of course, is going to be a 10 out of 10. Come on, y'all. I had to know what happened, okay? This plot, 10. Intrigue, 10. Logic and relationships is also a 9.5. Sometimes they be doing stuff and I'd be like, why do you treat them like that? You know what I mean? Also, like in the end, I'm like, that ending, what does that mean? Logically speaking. Didn't feel like a 10 to me, but it was really damn close, 9.5. Overall enjoyment is gonna be a 10 out of 10. It felt like a 5-star. I felt like a 5-star, and from the looks of it, it's gonna be a 5-star. We'll see what the final ratings for all of these are. Okay, let's go. Now going into the final scores. They're all 5 stars, y'all, so let me just go ahead and preface this by saying these are all 5-star books. Indigo Ridge came out at a 9.77, which puts it at a high 5 stars. Hook, Line, and Sinker got a 9.05 out of 10, which is a low 5, but still a 5, baby. I still had a great time with that book. And then Vanished Birds ended up at a 9.83. So by the skin of its teeth, The Vanished Birds is gonna be the winner of this round, and that is so psychotic to me. Woo! Stephanie girl, you won, and you knew you won too. That's so funny. You really tried to come up in here and be like, I'm not sure if you will like this book, but I'm just gonna recommend it to you and maybe you'll like it. Girl, you knew what you were doing. Don't even act like that. Try to be coy. Oh no. Okay, so with that means that Stephanie, what the is going on? Oh my God, I cannot believe this. My heart is pounding right now. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God. What in the... I for sure thought that this round YouTube was gonna be out. Like I was like, YouTube, you're out, dude. It's between Instagram and TikTok. But with this final rating, that means that we have Instagram at 4, TikTok at 4, and YouTube at 3. That means next month is literally going to decide it all. Like, will all of these platforms tie, or are we gonna have one actual winner of this competition? Y'all, this is crazy to me. What the heck? I don't know what to say. I'm really shocked right now. That means next month has to be really, really good. Okay. I'm gonna get on that. Y'all, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Battle of the Books. We are literally in the second to last round, which means that next month is gonna decide it all. But in the meantime, if you are not following all of these amazing creators, please go ahead and give them a follow. All their information is gonna be down below in the description box. Let me tell you, it takes a lot of guts to recommend a book to somebody. It comes from the heart always. I always say this to y'all, but like, recommendations are so precious. And when you get them from people that you trust, like your bookstagrammers, booktubers, book talkers, and then they end up being amazing freaking books, like, y'all, that feels so good. Ooh, y'all, I love this series. So do me a favor, go and say hey to all these amazing creators and thank these creators so much for the beautiful work that they do, okay? Because this round was crazy. I know I said that I would talk about the audiobook portion of this, and I feel like I already kind of touched on this a little bit, but romances for me are always fun on audio. So Indigo Ridge and Hook, Line, and Sinker, like, those were perf. Those were fun. That was a fun time. I really enjoyed that. The Vanished Birds, I feel like I would have really just like blown my mind if I read it physically, but it was still a really great audiobook and I really enjoyed it. I think sci-fi on audio was so fun, and obviously it was a great time. That being said, that's the end of this round, y'all. That's crazy. I promise y'all, I did not plan this. I really thought that we would have a clear winner by December, and it's so crazy to me that literally it's gonna take me going 12 months of this to actually figure out who the winner is. That means next month has to be so good, and I don't even know what the genre is gonna be, y'all. I don't even know what it's gonna be. Okay, let me go think about that. Thank you guys so much for joining me on another round of Battle of the Book. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell if you don't want to miss another video from us, and I will see y'all next month. We'll decide this finally. I'm still in shock. Okay. Oh my God, the pressure is on. So let me go do that, and I will see y'all next month. Bye!
Bum, bum, da 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 da, bum, bum, da.